The church never worships more purely than when it confesses its own sinfulness, because that's the platform in which we enter into worship. Recognition of our own sinfulness and our own unworthiness. Everybody understands David was a great worshiper, wasn't he? Great worshiper. He wrote many psalms. Dozens and dozens of psalms. And we use those psalms to worship. And they are worshiping psalms. But David also understood the wretchedness of his own heart. And he was a true worshiper who knew that while it was one thing to come to God and give Him glory, it was also an equally critical thing to come to God and recognize his own unworthiness. He is not a spiritual novice, this David. He is a man after God's own heart. He didn't write this psalm at some immature moment in his life. He wrote it at the pinnacle of his life, at the very pinnacle of divine blessing on his life. He was a man after God's own heart. He was a man who hated iniquity and unrighteousness in others, but hated it even more in himself. And so he's going to be the one to lead us in our confession this morning. Look at Psalm 51 for a moment. We'll just get an overview of this great psalm. Its characteristic is true confession. That's what it's about. He is the broken and the contrite heart that he describes in verse 17. That's him. And he knows God will not despise a broken and contrite heart. This psalm bears the mark of deep guilt. This psalm bears the mark of penetrating, pervasive, almost debilitating remorse over sin. This is a psalm written out of pain, anxiety, fear, and reveals the essence of a true confession.